Hello, everyone. Welcome to the DoubleClutch.ca podcast. I'm your host, Nick, managing editor of this fine establishment, and I'm joined in studio by my co-hosts, Nathan and Rush.
For those who might not be aware, we are a dedicated gaggle of gearheads who have been running and playing with this magazine for the better part of 10 years so that we have the excuse to play with all these fine new cars. This week in the garage, we got some pretty cool stuff. We got a Jaguar F-Type Final Edition. We have a 04, a Mazda Speed MX-5 Miata from the Mazda's Heritage Collection.
Mm-hmm.
We have a manual Supra with the B58 BMW engine. Mm-hmm. And we have a super base spec but delightful Mini Cooper with a 6-speed manual. Rush, why don't you tell us about that car?
That's great.
Okay, good talk.
It's great. All right, we're done.
Honestly, I don't know. There's something about minis. I find that, the first car I ever owned was a classic mini. And since then, every car that I've driven or owned after that, not that I hold it to the same standard, because, a classic mini is nothing special, but, it has to create the same level of excitement that I remember.
It's like a character in the theater that comes with those
exactly
cars.
Exactly it. No two minis are the same. All minis have character, and it's funny because BMW mass producing these little economy cars.
Yeah.
But even the new mini still feels like it has a ton of playful character. It's like a little happy dog, a little yippy happy dog.
Yeah, they've done a good job making this what you called it, it's an economy car. It is a mass produced commodity consumer product, but they managed to bake personality into it.
Personality. It has a slight premium feel, I think.
Yeah.
Not just materials, but as far as the actual driving dynamics and the way that it handles itself on the road, I'd say that it definitely feels a little bit more upmarket than pretty much anything else that I've driven in the same category. Also, the fact that it's stick, it's a cool little thing. I really enjoy driving it. I don't know. I kind of don't want to give it back.
Yeah. So that
don't want to give it back.
Yeah, I don't want. I would like to have a little car like that, just to run errands in, because it makes errands fun. Which is what I missed about my classic mini, because it was such a stupid little car you can get in, go to the shops in, and just have a kick, have a blast doing that.
Yeah,
that's high praise.
Yeah.
So this takes me back to about 2019 when BMW had a pretty much identically spec'd base 3-door Mini on the fleet.
Which we should add is not hard to do because it's literally as it comes.
Yeah, exactly. And even back then, having just rung out this one and just thinking back to it, it really does feel it's surprisingly engaging. I had a way a much bigger smile on my face ripping through the gears in that thing, and making the tires chirp than the manual Supra that we have.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Much bigger smile on my face.
That's the thing. Also, I find that the one thing it does well is, even though there are some really frustrating things about it, like the center armrest.
Yeah.
Some of the interior ergonomics are a little strange because
style,
and also it's kind of I feel like it's an old design that they've been trying to pull into the modern age for ages, and some things just don't work that well.
Yeah, like the fact that it has a manual handbrake in the first place.
Exactly, things like that.
Yeah,
and I think the problem with that is, you have all these cute design things, but they kind of interfere with the actual function of the car.
Yeah.
But because the Mini is so cute and has personality, it can kind of get away with it. Where you're that's funny.
That's so dumb. Yeah.
That's very British. It's just
it's almost endearing.
Yeah. That's exactly it. So I don't know. It just kind of makes me love the car even more, which sounds ridiculously dumb. And there's so many stupid little callbacks to the classic Minis, even where the switchgear is, or the little vents on the dash. Small things are this feels really nostalgic, but modern enough that you're comfortable driving it.
Yeah, one thing to spell out about that car that is dumb. It's so dumb, but it's so dumb that it becomes endearing.
That's exactly it.
Is that so this armrest that these guys were talking about? So when it's in its flat neutral position, you can't really reach the shifter or the iDrive controller thing very well.
Yep.
Also, the iDrive controller is kind of irrelevant now that it's a touchscreen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And if you put the armrest further down, so it's on a downward cant, the handbrake hits it when you go to set it. It's dumb. It's really stupid. But it's one of those things that as with any car, and it's a big chunk of, I think, why like all three of us tend to gravitate towards older cars, because they have flaws.
Yeah.
And, like, we kind of anthropomorphize them to become like character flaws, like we'd find in ourselves or in a person.
Yeah.
Anthropomorphize. That's a big word.
I'm actually a writer.
What?
What?
Yeah,
Could have fooled me.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think the Mini does that better than a lot of new cars do. For better or worse, it does that.
It's also just got like a stupid grin on it. I don't know, these big beady eyes. Like it just
It's so cute.
Yeah.
Union Jack taillights. Like they're dumb.
It's
They're
dumb.
actually
It's dumb and it's hard to hate.
that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I love it.
Yeah.
I really love it. Okay. Genuinely though, I wish the engine was a little better.
Yeah.
Not as far as power goes. Like the power is kind of okay, but it's a little rev hangy, and also I find that it grumbles a little bit too much. Because I was just talking about the fact that it does feel a little bit upmarket, but that really detracts from it because it is a little bit rough.
Tiny bit thrashy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And not fast enough to justify it.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah, you're only what, like 2-3 as tested. You're only what, like 2-3 grand off of the base price of a Cooper S.
I think it was like 5 off an S.
Okay.
4 or 5 off an S.
4 or 5?
Okay.
So like not an insignificant amount of money, but not a deal breaker huge amount
No.
either.
Yeah.
I think I would go for the Cooper S. But then again, I'm thinking about it, I'm like, oh, but the base one is kind of nice because it also drinks gas very economically. And, like, I don't know. It's a good car. I think either way, you can't go wrong.
Good little car. One of the things I really appreciate about the car, when you or I were out in it earlier today, and I threw it through a fast sweeper pretty fast. And
Swift.
Yes. And it wanted to rotate. Like after like a little bit of initial push on turn in, like by the end of the corner, it was starting to rotate on me. I haven't seen a front drive car do that in forever. It was amazing.
Yeah.
We're both like, wait, did you feel that?
Yeah.
Was it trying to do that?
You could tell that someone tried to make it fun,
Yeah.
which is awesome.
Yeah.
You know,
Someone
like,
really tried hard to balance it out and
Yeah.
make it like sweet.
so as much as, I don't know, being a classic Mini owner is also kind of interesting because, like, we were always told, you know, big Mini bad, but
Yeah.
they're actually great. Like, I don't know, like they have like enough character. You're like, okay, this is like, I get it.
Yeah.
I can get why people enjoy them, and I don't know. I think that, like, if you're looking for something fun and you're not overly worried about having every inch of, you know, interior space available for bags or whatever you need space for, like, get the Mini.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen a brand new press car with manual climate control.
Okay, that was the other thing about it, actually. So it's got a ton of standard kit in it.
Yeah.
Like a ton.
Like, even like
Kit, is it making you Britisher? You said go down to the shops and you've just called it standard kit. Is it rubbing off
I'm gonna go
on
to
you?
the store and get some options on my car. I don't know, man. Yeah, the wall to Walmart. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, like the panel roof is standard.
So panel roof.
Yep.
It's got iDrive like on this like nice center screen.
yeah,
What else has it
leatherette.
got? Leatherette.
Yeah.
Heated
like,
seats. Like
LEDs.
LEDs,
all around,
and
yeah.
they're really good looking. And also, it's got like start stop. What do you call it? Like comfort access.
Yeah.
They
pretty
list the
impressive.
armrest as a feature. So
That's
that's
a feature that should be yanked out of the damn car.
What else does it have? You know, it's got a bunch of like things, but why would you put manual climate control in it? It just really doesn't make a lot of sense. It's not like a cost cutting thing, really. I'm sure they make it. I don't know.
There'd be a way to like. I was just gonna say there'd be a way to bake it into iDrive, but I hate when climate controls are baked in, so I'm not gonna say that. But
Yeah,
like,
don't know.
nice catch.
I
feel
find
like
that a little silly.
it's kind of a thing where like if they pulled those dials away, they didn't have anything else that was funky to put in there.
Well, they could just
And
put
we
a
have-
button that says auto, and I'd be fine with that.
Yeah, but then you just have this blank panel with a giant auto button.
No. Like, leave the dials in there, but just when you push the dial in, have it be auto or something. I don't know. Or, like, you know, when you rotate the dial, just have it set the temperature instead of setting like an actual temperature that you can maintain versus like, oh, I kind of want it cold, I kind of want it hot.
Yes.
do
Okay.
wish-
Game.
Yeah.
I do wish that they brought back the climate controls in the O2s, the automatic climate controls that were shaped like the Mini logo. Do you remember that?
I don't.
In the O2, like the BMW 2002 from the 70s.
No.
The Reborn Mini when it
like the very first gen, like the R50 Mini. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. R50s did have like automatic climate controls, and they arranged the buttons so that they were basically a Mini logo on the center stack.
See, that's
I wish
great.
they brought that
They should
back.
do that.
That's a surprising quirk that isn't
Yeah.
in it anymore.
Let me look this up because like what you're describing sounds to me like it's a little too on the nose.
It might be. It also has manual seats, but I actually enjoy that.
Yeah.
Like, manual seats, I think, are a little underrated. Like, they're easy
they're
to
great.
use.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, they're light. I don't know, easy.
I don't see it. I see 3 dials.
Is that manual or automatic climate control?
Manuel?
Probably Manuel. Oh, I see here.
Can I see?
Yeah.
See?
Yeah, so you got like a knob
Oh.
in the center and then a bunch of climate buttons that kind
That's
of
not bad.
fan
That's
out
kinda cool.
from it, and
It's
it's kind of a
cute.
mini shape. Okay, nut on the nose. That works good.
It does.
They should do that.
I'm honestly surprised that it's missing.
We
I
should
kinda
maybe
expected
see
it.
if that is an option that our car just doesn't have, because ours is
Possibly.
super base.
We've had upper spec mini pressers before, and those two had automatic climate, but they had.
I
3
just
buttons.
think at the even at the base level, just take that out. Just put the automatic climate control in there. Like, it's not going to cost that much more money, and it's one of those small things that makes a nice difference when you're living with the car.
Yeah.
It's an interesting value proposition because, like, are people really paying like as much money as they can get like a comparatively much better equipped, Civic Mazda 3 for?
Yeah,
for
but it's
similar money.
style, and if you want something a little dumb, like, that's the thing. They're cars for sort of enthusiasts. Like, they're cars for people that want something a little interesting, and it's good that Mini still makes it because it's an option in the market, right? The Mazdas and the Corollas, whatever, the Civics, they're always going to exist because people just want a car. But
Yeah.
if you want a car that's a little fun,
Yeah.
go
If
for
you
a
want
Mini.
an car, those exist. If you want a car,
Yeah. Oh, I want
Mini's
a
there.
cute little car.
Yeah.
That's
that I'm
fair.
happy to drive.
Yeah. Doesn't always have to make sense.
yeah,
No, absolutely.
I just want that one.
Yeah.
It's cute. Give me that one. That's the rationale
And the
behind it.
base model is, I think, it's not cheap. It's definitely not cheap, but it's in
not
this
cheap,
market.
but it's not bad.
Yeah, in this market, the value that you get out of it is
Yeah.
not terrible, actually.
It's so the presser we had in 2019, the identically spec presser, that was 25, almost 26 as tested, which was fantastic value back then. And I literally plugged it into some sort of inflation calculator, and purely adjusted for inflation, just like that. That works out to just under 30 grand adjusted for inflation.
Yeah, and this one's close to
So
33.
it is. Yeah, it's not insignificant.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder how much of that is, just
There's just more stuff on
post-COVID
it too.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. It's not quite the value proposition it once was.
But nothing
But
is. Like, in a
that's
relative
true.
schema, it's schema.
What's a-
schema? I'm not a writer. It's
what's a
it's
base?
still not bad.
What's a base Civic cost? 25?
I actually don't know.
27?
I want to say 20,
25-ish. Yeah, they're-
something like
they're
that.
more-
And SI is like
they're more
what,
expensive.
35 now. We were talking about this a few episodes ago.
Yeah, like 35, 37.
And
Yeah. And
the
like
Cooper
and-
S is 37.
there you go. Yeah.
So there you go. Like, I don't know. I'm not saying it's the cheapest thing. I'm not saying it makes the most sense, but I'm saying it's really, really
Charming.
charming, and I'm glad that Mini still makes
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So speaking of saving the manuals, 3 of our press cars this week are saving the manuals because we also got the
Mazda Speed
3,
Yeah.
Right.
which I brought my NA into the office yesterday. It was intentional. I didn't want to park those two side by side and just like drive them back to back. What did you guys think, first of all?
Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay. Go first.
I like the NA better.
Yep.
Yep.
Um,
I'm biased, but yep.
okay. Unfortunately, there's some things that are just subjective. Like, the looks, I think, of the NA are a little bit more classic Miata, and I just like the way that it looks.
Yeah, it's such like the NA has gotten to a point now where it's an icon. Like, it is an actual icon of style.
And again, it's one of those. It's a similar thing where it's just cute and dumb, and you like it because it's cute and dumb.
Yeah.
Like, what else about it? I feel like the NA drove a little nicer, which is kind of interesting because
Yeah, I think the NA's 5-speed box, and again, definitely not biased here. It's more precise than the 6-speed.
yeah, I didn't have any problem with the transmission. It was more so like some of the suspension tuning. Like, I just felt the NB felt a little unsettled over bumps, which I thought was really strange. Like, from a Miata, like the NB felt a lot more like an ND to me, which is weird.
But the ND is very good.
The
It
ND is
is.
great.
I think
Yeah.
I think you and I would agree the ND is the one we'd probably take.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the NA is I think the purest form of that car. I don't know. It's a weird thing to explain. Also, the turbo engine in that. Okay, as much as
that's the problem with that
Yeah.
car. Chassis is great, shifter's great. I thought the chassis, like the suspension chassis, was set up excellent.
as much as I wanted to like that turbo engine because
Mm-hmm.
like you always think like, oh man, this car would be great with like a couple
just
more
a little
horsepower.
more power, yeah.
It's too peaky. Supercharging is definitely the way to go with old Miatas.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like I felt like it was, anything above 4,000 RPM, like it was kind of there, but you still had to really ring it out for like it to come on to boost. Like the boost threshold is like maybe 4,000, but then the lag between like.
That's the thing, right? Like it starts to wake up at 4, and then it's not at full steam until 5.
That's
like,
exactly.
And there's like
and then you're what, like,
there's a sizable delay, and then you're shifting because it's a super close ratio 6-speed.
Yeah.
So it's just shift.
Yeah.
Like and it's just. And the other thing is, like, the big thing that bugged me is that like the exhaust is too quiet. That's why everyone has exhaust on those cars because turbos are mufflers.
Yeah.
And the intake is too quiet. Because
there's no induction noise.
Mm-hmm. So like all every Miata I've ever driven has had a really satisfying little intake snort and a nice little exhaust rasp, and this car had zero of that because of the turbo.
But
I would assume because of the turbo.
Sounded like better with the induction noise.
Yeah, exactly, because it's got a nice little intake snort.
The NA was like actually
because there's no turbo in the way.
I don't know. It was kind of weird.
Yeah, like that Mazda Speed Miata, and like let's all backpedal. Like let's not all like shit on this car. Like we super appreciate Chuck from Mazda giving us the opportunity to pull this out of the Heritage Collection and play with it for a week because it is a wonderful gem of a car.
Yeah.
It has a magical chassis. Like I think like my favorite gen of Miata personally is an NB, and this car has reinforced that. I love NBs. They drive so good. They look great. I think they're like the nice medium between like the classic NA Miata feel and some of the modern niceties of an ND.
Sure.
Like if I were to buy a Miata, it would be like a nice late like special edition with the 6-speed and the Torsen, but definitely not the turbo. That motor really highlights why we all like naturally aspirated engines because of that weird response.
So I almost bought that car.
That car?
Yes.
Okay.
Literally that car.
Okay.
Okay.
How what? What? You want to backpedal?
Okay,
Give us some
so
context here?
I'm backpedaling all the way to all the way to 2017.
We don't need your life story, dude.
So
spit it out.
when I decided that the G35 was not for me, which we discussed this a couple of episodes ago.
Are you a bad person?
Yeah, I know, right? I found literally that exact Mazda Speed Miata on AutoTrader, and I wasn't sure if I actually wanted it. So at the same time, I also knew that Mazda Canada were looking to add the Speed to their Heritage Collection. So me being the nice guy that I am, I sent a listen to Chuck and I said, "Hey, check out what I found." And then when I finally decided to go for it, God damn it, I reached out to the seller and he's like, "Oh, sorry, Mazda Canada actually just like reached out like a couple of days ago and they're buying the car," and I still haven't forgiven Chuck about that.
But now you don't want the car.
No, it is very much a case of never meet your heroes, and like I'm in retrospect, I'm glad I didn't buy it.
I feel like that car would be good with a different turbo because I've driven an NA that was aftermarket turbocharged, and I absolutely adored it.
Yeah, I feel like with a more modern turbo and like a little bit of like intake exhaust work, as everyone does with those, and now I know why.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that car would be really sweet. I still don't know that I want
I think
it.
back in the day when, like, this was what, 2004?
Oh, 4,
that thing would have been like a cool little like sports car to have, and I think it's one of those cars that like it's a product of its time, right? And like nowadays with like modern technology and modern like ball bearing turbos, like all the good stuff we have now, it's a completely different game.
Yeah,
and we're so
accustomed to turbos not feeling like
that's
turbos.
The thing. We're so, I mean, what's the best word for it? Like spoiled. Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely spoiled by like all the modern stuff we get to drive. It's tough to compare like a car like that to it.
It's weird coming across a car that actually makes you work for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not like
like
an old Honda VTEC like makes you work for it, but it's good. It rewards you.
There's
very
no
much.
reward here. There's no like light at the end of the tunnel because when you're like seeing the light, you shift.
Yeah,
then
it's time to shift, and you just keep doing it again. And like, I'm going to sound spoiled because I'm a stupid journalist who used to driving 580 horsepower cars. It's not fast. It's not even close to fast. It's not on the same planet as fast. And a stock ND without a turbo would absolutely walk it.
Oh, yeah.
And your NA, for anyone listening, Nick has a stock NA Miata that's absolutely beautiful.
And we have written about it.
Which is why he is super biased about it, and I wrote a review on it a little while ago. That car felt very nearly as fast and way more satisfying to drive because it has like the classic...
It does not feel as fast.
Nearly. Because, well, hang on, no. But like so much of the experience, you guys tend to forget this, so much of the experience is noise. Sound,
That's
noise,
exactly
sound, noise. And the Mazda Speed doesn't have that because of the turbo. Your car has a nice little intake snort and a raspy little exhaust, and it sounds like a classic sports car.
Yeah.
the Mazda speed, for me,
Genuinely,
it just doesn't do
that's
that.
Exactly it. Yeah.
God, I want to fucking supercharge mine.
No.
Really?
Don't.
Fuck.
Don't. If you want a fast Miata, get an ND. Don't even bother playing with that
And
car.
then supercharge that. You should LS swap
That'd be
yours.
sick.
No.
That's the gangster move.
Dude, why not?
Maybe.
Don't. I mean, don't.
Dude, there's full kits. Wiring and everything.
Okay, but
Yeah,
like
it doesn't
at
even
that
wreck the
point,
balance. It's not
if
even
I'm
heavier.
dumping like 15, 20 grand into that car, then why not just get an ND?
Because then you would
there's
have
the
an
rub.
ND without an LS in it.
Yeah, but
And
the
you have
ND,
the same
yeah, but
problem.
the ND is sick.
It is.
But the NA is beautiful and timeless.
So I'll
And you can have
it.
power.
The ND is very good looking though. NA is
NA
time.
is-
I actually think the NA Miata within the next 20 years will be $100,000 car.
Jesus.
I actually believe that because it is such an icon
I
of
don't
style.
think so.
Absolutely not.
I don't think so.
No, like
Dude, they made like 1 million of them.
yeah, and look how many are clapped. Look how many didn't survive.
True.
I don't think $100,000, but you know what? Yeah, they're definitely going to go up in value.
Look, okay. Would you have said any of like say $100,000 car 20 years ago? Like look at the M5s and BMWs that you and I adore so much.
Fucking 911s.
911s.
But 911s were always a Porsche, a sports car made by a premium manufacturer. A Mazda Miata, I hate to say
Okay,
it,
fine.
they're still
Supra.
making them.
Fine, a Supra or an NSX.
Supra.
Or a Mazda RX-7 from the same company. Like maybe not $100,000, but like they're real expensive now. And like finding a stock,
see your point.
like a stock.
I agree with
maybe,
you.
Maybe I'm exaggerating a tiny bit, but like I think because
They're
that
gonna be
generation,
true collector cars.
in particular, yeah, it's going to be a true,
Yeah.
valuable item.
Also, maybe just so far as like what it represents, like the 911 when it's air cooled, it's like okay, this represents a certain era of sports car.
Yes.
Right.
Same thing with like the 911 or the Miata.
Yeah.
It represents a certain
Yeah, it's
stage that where
yeah,
people
it's
can
a very
use
time
an
and place.
attainable sports car for the masses, right?
It's also
Yeah.
legitimately engaging and makes you feel
That's
things.
exactly it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
like-
we can all agree it's still like one of the best driving cars
Maybe
in the world.
that's
Like,
how it would become, a true classic. Is it reaches that level
yeah,
of
the kind of like mythical status.
That's exactly
yeah.
it,
As
yeah.
more and more of them get rusted away or like wrapped around trees, like all of a sudden, there's none left.
yeah. All right, makes sense.
Rush wouldn't know anything about wrapping shit around trees.
There's no need to get into that. Next topic. What do we want to go on to next?
Wasn't a tree. So get
love
fucked.
that I have all of you guys singing shit now. That's
Damn
it! Nick, what's the next car we're talking about?
The 2023 Toyota Supra with a 6-speed manual. It's the car that the internet wanted and the internet goddamn got.
It's great.
It's pretty good.
I love the shifter.
I don't love it.
I don't love it. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I don't love
The
it.
The
shifter's
shifter
good.
itself is good.
You know what? It's the fact that it's a little taller. We're talking about this tall knob, not floppy.
Yep. Tall knob. People like tall knobs.
Yeah, tall knob.
Yep.
Didn't like it was Alcantara. Not a huge fan of that. But what else was it? Oh, it wasn't as rubbery feeling as most BMW shifters are.
No, it's noticeably better than the shifter in your M2.
It reminds
Yes,
me.
yes.
It reminds me a lot of the, a lot of the E60 545 shifter that I got in my E39. The throws to
think
me
that's
feel
the thing.
just as crisp, just as like short and
Yeah,
direct.
I have the same shift setup,
It's a lot lighter though,
In my
and nicer.
M5.
And, yeah.
and like it's like it feels like a
It feels like a nice factory short shift.
Right.
Like yeah.
Like it really feels like you're doing something when you put in gear. But I think if you had a taller shift knob on it, it would feel quite similar to the Supra, just a little bit heavier.
So Nick should get a taller knob because people like taller knobs.
That's
This
not
is what we're
floppy.
saying on air. Taller, non-floppy knob.
I think so.
Okay.
Anyways,
Excellent.
But I think that the Supra, like, I think we were talking about this in the car. Like Nathan and I went for a drive, and it just
Something's missing.
and it's the ZF8 speed.
Yep. Okay, so this was the debate. So, like, for those who may not be aware, the BMW Z4 and the Toyota Supra are built on the same platform and actually in the same plant. And they're
Wait,
both.
you're saying the Supra is basically a BMW?
So, believe it or not, there's actually been some controversy about this. But yes, the Supra is by and large a BMW.
Like when you get in it, and it makes the exact same
door chime noises that I really think Toyota could have changed.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
They did make a different owner's manual.
They did make a different owner's
They did?
manual
Yeah.
as we looked at today. It's a gorgeous car. I think
It
the
is
Supra
absolutely
looks so
stunning,
good.
especially the spec.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Normally don't like those those primer grayish colors, but this
It's
one
got
has
a
a
good
bit of
metallic
a
flake.
It's
in
got
it.
like a gold metallic in it that
gold
only
orange.
comes out in the sun.
Absolutely
Yeah, it
gorgeous.
looks
and the
stunning.
brown interior. Oh, I just
It's
want to
great.
make
It's
a peanut
a
butter and
little
chili sandwich out
a
of
little
it.
bit of carbon just in the right spot. The Alcantara on the shift knob? No, not a fan. But
it kind of sticks out. There's nothing else that's Alcantara in the car, so that kind of I wasn't much of a fan of that.
Hmm.
What's the thing? And I also think that, I mean, this car's got 2,500 kilometers on it, and 2,500 kilometers of it being on the press fleet, yeah, sure, it's a different thing. But it's already, like, matted and kind of gross. Like, I know it just needs a tidy up, but what I'm saying is, if you're using this car as a, daily or
There's
whatever.
no reason it shouldn't be a leather shift knob.
That's exactly it.
Yep.
But yeah, like, kind of the big debate that we had was that, like, whether or not the Supra would be better than the Z4 since they are the same-ish chassis. Toyota like set up the chassis in their own way. They got their own suspension tuning and their own steering. Like they feel meaningfully different.
Yeah.
It's not just like a badge job. The Toyota went out of their way to make the cars meaningfully different. The Supra, I'll say, feels a lot more lively.
Yep.
Yes.
Not necessarily better, but a lot more lively.
I couldn't quite get used to the clutch. There's still just a tiny hint of rev hang, and that kind of cramps yourself when you're trying to rip on it.
Clutch delay valve or something like that. Like
there's a clutch
I
delay,
think so.
but it's also slow to drop revs too. Like when I was shutting, like remember when I shut it off and then I didn't think it shut off, so I hit the start button again and it turned back on while it was still coming down from
without using the starter.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's probably just like. Also, it's
probably just a stupid emissions thing or something.
Probably, yeah.
So the chassis.
Well, the chassis was good, but I feel like the car was never made to be a manual, and now that they've done it, there's some things that are left over from the fact that it wasn't ever made to be manual that make the experience of it not so great.
Yeah, like the ZF8, because it's automatic and because it's an absolute masterpiece of engineering, it smooths out like power delivery between shifts, and there's no interruption of power. Whereas with the manual, this is inevitable. Like you can't get around this.
Yeah.
And in the Supra, I don't know, Nick, if you've noticed this. But like I've noticed like the very typical BMW like squishy rear subframe feeling, where like when you
can
punch
feel
it and come off and come around corners, like you can feel the rear end kind of shimmying around mid corner, especially when you're shifting. And the ZF8 cars don't do that.
It's been a while since I've driven a ZF8 Supra, so.
But like
I can get back to you on that.
For me, like I just noticed, like, this rear end is doughy. Like this is very typical BMW kind of like doughy rear subframe mounts, and you can really feel it. Like it's just something I tried to dial out in the 128 I used to have, and I hated it.
I did take an on ramp at a speed, and the back end was kind of like just a bit of like.
Could be this car though too.
It could be this car.
Could be the tires on it. Could be anything.
Yeah, but to highlight the point that I think Nick was just starting to make there was that like, and you and I noticed this, where like it breaks away inconsistently.
It is a little like
it doesn't want to. It wants to hold on, and then it snaps.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. Like you'll be like trying to have fun with it. It won't go. It won't go. It won't go. And it'll be like, see ya.
Yeah.
And like it just send you like in whatever direction it feels is.
Yeah, like I had the thing like traction off, everything off. Like okay, full throttle from a stop. Let's go. And like
Yeah, it's not enjoyable though to like play with, and I think that's a weird thing about it. Like, you would think that with a stick and like all the power that it has, like it would be like a lively car in the way that you can like toss it around a little bit or like do whatever, but it doesn't seem to enjoy it.
Yeah,
like there's too much compliance in the car where it just like picks up all of that like. I don't know.
And I feel like with a direct line being like the clutch, with a direct physical hard connection from the engine to the driven wheels, you lose like that kind of like magic torque multiplication effect of the ZF8 that BMW has got dialed in so well, perfectly.
Yeah.
So it feels like it's a dumb thing to say with a car that's this powerful, but it feels like kind of a dog off the line.
Sounds like you're spoiled.
I am spoiled. I'm horribly spoiled. But that's the problem, though. The alternative exists.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
For people or for a person that's wanting to buy one of the two.
Yeah,
I couldn't recommend the stick all the time.
Yeah, like if that's what you want, sure. Like and it's great. We all liked it. We all like this car. This is a very good car. It's an excellent driver's car. It's fun. It does slideways things. It's fast. It's loud. I think it's not loud enough, and I think it's too fast for how loud it's not. Because you can't put the windows down.
That's the thing. You can't put the windows down because it buffets. But then you look down and you're like,
bad.
Oh, geez! Like this thing is really quick. It's just a little bit too. Like removed from the road, right? Like and there's too much like sound deadening. There's too much. It's too good at doing.
What you and because the ratios in the 6-speed are so long. So like
if you rev it out,
you rip it out through a couple gears, and you look down like, allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah.
Whereas in say the Z4, and this circles back around to the debate, what would we rather have? The Z4 M40i with the same engine and a drop top, or the Supra with a coupe and a third pedal. And for me personally, like without blinking, I'd take the Z4 every single time without thinking about it.
Give me a Z4 with a Supra's manual.
No.
Really?
See, that ruins that
No,
car again.
it ruins it.
That's the thing. I think there's so much good about having the Z4 as a drop top too. Like it really enhances the experience of that car.
It sounds so much
It's
better,
such
and you
like
know how fast you're
It's
going.
such a thrill to take it out versus like the Supra. Like it is such a great car, but like I don't feel the same like desire to like I'm not begging you to take the keys to that car home, right? Like versus if you had the Z4, I'd be like, Nathan, let me please take it home for a night, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the thing.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I found the Z4 a lot more fun. I found it was more easier to be more of a hooligan and more playful with it without being as much of a gorilla with it. Like with the Supra, you have to beat the snot out of it.
Exactly.
To get anything out of it. Whereas with the Z4, like you could kind of like, okay, set it to sport and play with it, and it would step out a bit and like do all this stuff without being like ridiculous, shouty, and like dangerous.
Right. See, where I'm coming from, if the Z4 is a car about the experience, and most convertibles are.
Yeah.
Most convertibles are a sense of occasion. You drop the top, enjoy the wind in your hair, you can hear the car better.
Yep.
So much better.
To me, a manual just adds more to that experience. It's basically an $80,000 Miata.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that the alternative is quite good, and as a car, I think having the auto almost makes it a little bit more enjoyable and usable.
Yeah. We were.
Because don't forget, you have to drive the car to and from where you're gonna have fun with it. Like you're gonna be stuck in traffic one day and be like, man.
And that was such a nice thing about the Z4 is that like when I was going to Fun Road, and sitting in traffic, I could just set the stupid adaptive cruise to on
and let it do its thing. Let it do what it do. Yeah.
And like as much as I hate to sound like an old man, I'm still very much firmly in the camp of save the manuals. Except if it's a ZF8. That is such a magical box.
That's the thing. Like,
it's so good.
Most of the cars I've owned in my life have been manual.
Yeah. Yeah, so me too. Like, the only automatic cars I've ever owned were a Crown Vic and Benzes.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
But now I have my daily driver with,
ZF8.
It's ZF8. And
it's good.
Yeah, and the adaptive cruise, it's like, driving, my 50 or 100 kilometer, commute daily is now much less annoying.
Yeah. And like the ZF8 is still fun. It actually feels like a video game. It reminds me of my stupid little Mad Cat steering wheel with the little shifter thing on the side, and you can just click, 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 click up, down, and it just bangs it through.
That's the thing.
It's
also
perfect.
Once you learn how to play with the transmission well, it really rewards you for pushing it in a certain way. You can really
you can really send it and have so much fun with it.
You can extract all of the fucking performance out of the car.
Yeah.
Versus I know what that's what sounds crazy because you would think that would be with the stick.
Yeah, because it's more direct control.
Yeah,
but there's so many nannies in the way to impede that direct
That's
control, and you really feel them because it is supposed to be direct.
Right.
Whereas with the ZF8, it almost feels more real than real. It's hyper reality. It's like this should not be this good.
Yeah,
but it is, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
Just like with the stupid Charger Hellcat and the Challenger we had, the ZF8 is just so much better. The fact that it can power shift and light the tires consistently through 3 gears without interruption, absolute magic.
Madness,
It's so good.
So what I'm hearing is ZF should sponsor us. What are you saying, ZF? What's up?
What's up? What you saying?
Hey, honey. We will shill anything you give us.
So I guess let's move on to.
So
speaking of ridiculous and shouty cars.
What's the thing? So
Yes.
The transition from there is basically we would not take the Supra and we would have the drop top manual or drop top.
You and I
BMW.
would. Nick would also probably take the
Nick would
drop top, but in a fantasy world where there's also.
Yeah, give me the Well, fuck.
You're mad because you know you're wrong.
Oh no!
Honestly, gun to my head, I honestly don't know what to pick.
All right, so the Z4 definitely. Speaking of which, we have the F-Type.
Yeah, the F-Type.
Which is a kind of competitor to the Z4, sort of, maybe? I don't know.
In a way.
It looks like a competitive to the Z4 because they're the same size. And they're a premium...
It feels the same gap in the market.
It feels like it's the same gap in the market. They've looked at the same size. They look broadly similar. I'll say the F-Type is stunning.
Oh
it's
my God.
such a gorgeous car.
The spec that you have with that...
Yeah.
It finally took Jaguar long enough to add the perfect spec.
Yeah.
Teal and brown.
So it's called I'm probably butchering the pronunciation, Giola green, spelled like viola but with a G. And it's like a nice, like kind of like jade, like a blue kind of like a blue green.
It's gorgeous,
like a metallic blue green over caramel and black.
It reminds me of like old car color.
Yeah, it's so nice.
Yeah, like an old Jag or something. I don't know.
Yeah, the only thing I don't love about it is like it's like gloss black exterior trim and like gloss black interior accents. And I think if they were like chrome or machined aluminum, it would lean more into the retro.
Would be fantastic.
So nice.
Yeah.
It would really lean into because there are parts of that car that are machined, like the little glove box button with the Jaguar logo spelled around it.
Yep.
That looks like $1 million. If the whole car looked like that,
Sold.
Yeah. And I think it would do a little better justifying its price tag, which again, I love this car. I'm in love with this car. It's so good. It sounds amazing. It looks like $1 million.
Yeah, Nathan came to the office this morning. He's like, and I look outside. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
And I just dropped everything I was doing. I was like, okay, we're going for a drive. Let's go.
Like, the car looks so good.
Yeah.
So the F-Type tugs at my heartstrings the same way today as it did back in 2014 when it first launched.
Yeah.
The problem with the
Same car, no.
automotive sports car landscape is that it has changed a lot in 10 goddamn years.
Yep.
Yeah, and so the biggest problem with our F-Type, as much as I adore this car, and I really do, and like, so ours is a final edition car, and it is a sad send-off. Like, we shouldn't be losing this thing. This is such a great car. The world needs.
Well, they kind of just got it dialed in.
They got it dialed in beautifully.
And they're like, and it's gone.
Yeah. But like, our car is 130 grand thereabouts before Lux tax, freight, PDI, all that stuff.
Well, you know, that was a big thing for us too, because you were saying, oh, by the way, that price on the website includes Lux tax. I was like, yeah, but consider the fact that
you
the
have to
Supra,
pay it. Yeah,
or sorry, the
Z4,
doesn't
doesn't
fall under that.
Yeah.
And for us in Ontario, like, that's kind of a big thing, because it really, it's like 15 grand.
It was like,
jeez.
Oh no, seven.
Yeah, it was $7,500 on top of the price of the car for the Lux tax.
Like, just for the sake of buying it.
Just
so
for
like,
it. So the backup context. So like my Z4 M40i that I tested 3 months ago was 88 grand. Also before taxes and stuff. That's how I don't know how you guys do this. I do like all my pricing MSRP before fees and everything.
Yep.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, 88 grand, and then like it again, it's the same size as the F-Type. So I figured they should be roughly price parable. I was figuring the car would be about 100 grand, and it's 130. And like, that's a big ask. And the problem with being 130 grand is it puts you right smack in the middle of, Nick, take this away from me,
LC 500 cab and M850i cab territory.
Yeah, and it's
those
like,
are
oh my god,
those are much more
that's
substantial
the problem.
cars.
Yeah, like they're actually just physically larger.
That's the
for
thing.
one.
The LC is like what presence that car has, right?
Yeah.
And then the M850, which is, I'm sorry, the better car. It's just a better car to own and live with.
I don't know.
Don't worry about it. You're
I
wrong.
don't know. No. Hang on. You know I love that M850 I had. You know I adore that car. I think I would take the coupe over the cabbie.
Oh, sorry. So you still agree the M850 is the way to go?
Yeah.
But I understand what you're saying. But either way, the F-Type is not enough car to justify the price tag, I think. But maybe it's doing the thing where it's stupid and dumb. And
it's doing like the British charming retro car thing, where it's stupid and dumb, and but just oozes personality. Like it's just dripping with charisma and style, and it's so beautifully built, and it's such a stunning car.
Maybe enough people will buy it because of that.
Yeah,
I also get that out of the LC 500 cab. Like nothing looks like that thing on the road.
Thank God.
Yeah. That is a. You are fired.
No, I'm saying thank God because it's so pretty.
Fired.
Yeah.
Very few cars, in my eyes, offer the same kind of experience as the LC 500 does. Just the sound, the goddamn sound out of that thing.
Well, if you want to talk about sound,
I don't know, because the F-Type actually sounds fantastic.
Amazing.
It does.
Above 3,500 RPMs.
Still,
because underneath that it just sounds like.
Yeah, it just sounds like a very muffled V8, like a very quiet muffled Mercedes V8, and then like at 3,500 it just sets to kill.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Still kind of prefer the LC 500 exhaust note.
I think I do too, because it's more uniform. Rush, you and I were talking about this today, whereas like, especially when you're going through traffic and you're like kind of on it, so like it comes up through the revs and then it gets over 3,500 RPMs and it goes
yeah,
for like a second and then shifts down and then it goes quiet again.
Well, that's the problem. Okay, like, so unless you let it complete its scream, it sounds really dumb.
It sounds really
so
dumb.
you almost have to rev it out all the way every
time.
single time between shifts.
So like when I've been driving, I just stick it in manual mode,
and
I've just been like running it up to 5-6 grand, gradually like a fucking dipshit. People were like, yo, does this guy know how to shift? Like, yeah, I do. I just choose not to.
I felt like a massive dick taking it around the block for Starbucks. I did have a manual mode.
Oh, you went to go get Starbucks in your
Stubbies.
Jaguar.
Oh, terribly sorry. I forgot my wallet.
I went inside to associate with the pools.
Oh.
I did feel like
We'll fix that in post.
I did feel like a dick for forgetting it, and it was in manual mode. I was in first gear, and I felt like a massive.
But you know what I mean? Like it's that
little switchover point where like it's on and off of that, right? Like I was behind you in traffic in it, and like you sounded like such an obnoxious dink because it'd be like nothing, nothing, nothing. What is that noise? Nothing.
Yeah. It kind of goes stealth, but I wish there was like there's an exhaust button.
There is an exhaust button, but the exhaust button I don't think does anything
like
for the noise.
10% louder.
It just turns up the crackles.
Yeah, which is worse.
Yeah.
So I'd rather have it no crackles, sans crackles.
Yeah. I wish there was a way, and maybe there is a way, and I haven't found it in the car's menus or whatever, where you could just set that valve to be open all of the time, and it would at least be consistent.
I don't know if it would be though. I don't know what's going on with that car, but like, there's something off about the exhaust. Maybe just to make it more louder.
No, I don't think louder is the answer. I think just more consistent.
No. Definitely remove the exhaust.
No, but like I think like that exhaust is like super Jekyll and Hyde, very split personality, and they're fighting with each other. And I think if it were more unified, circling back around to Nick's point about the Lexus LC500, where that car sounds very good all of the time. It
Regardless
sounds good,
of the driving mode
it sounds
you're in,
good
by the way.
at low RPMs, and it just builds linearly and sounds amazing.
And it doesn't matter what drive mode you're in the LC500. It still screams.
Yeah.
Even if you ring it out in fucking eco mode, it still screams.
Yeah. And like it's more harmonic, whereas the F-Type is more like it's a big angry rasp, which like I love. Like
Maybe
it's so
prefer
good.
that though, because I find that like the LC500 and the IS500, they both sound a little too Gran Turismo for me. They both sound a little bit too manufactured in a way. I know I'm gonna get so much hate for this. Dude, the LC500 and the IS500 both sound great.
I definitely get where you're coming from, especially with like the augmentation for the speakers on. Like, yeah, that sounds super artificial. If you turn that off, it's a lot better. Still, I get still like curated,
but
very
you
curated.
kind of understand what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying. It's very curated, whereas the F-Type is just kill.
But
and
that's what I kind of enjoy.
Yeah, but like I wish it could be kill all the time,
or kill just like 25% quieter.
Yeah,
and then it would sound good all the time.
Take a little edge off the kill. and take a little less, to put a little more, take some of the kill off the top and put it in the bottom.
Exactly.
And we're in good shape. Yeah.
Maybe someone will figure it out.
Yeah. Or even just move the kill up a little bit. Just a little bit. So you're not
5K.
constantly, so you're not $4,000 even. So you're not just touching it. Because that's the thing. You touch it for 500 RPMs and then shift down again.
Yeah. Definitely agree.
But the M850i, that to me feels much more of a Grand Tourer than
it's a much more Grand Tourer car.
The M850i is definitely it's a different car though.
I think that car would be, I don't mean this in a bad way. I think it'd be a way better daily just because it's bigger. Yeah. It has a way bigger trunk and has back seats that you can
actually kind of live with it.
Yep. Yeah, you could live with it, but it's also like approximately 5 times the size of car.
It's massive.
Yeah.
Arguably more sumptuous interior than the F-Type.
You know what? I really like it.
Has a really pretty interior, but
the F-Type is so pretty. Their new infotainment is really nice.
I just don't know how it's going to hold up.
More aluminium trim, as opposed to the black. Like it's like a really nice color comp. Everything is so sumptuous. It's so nice. It's so well put together. Like the car is all about theatrics, and it nails that inside.
This one, in particular, is very good.
Stunning spec.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if it was spec'd differently in a little bit more boring manner, I don't know if I'd feel the same way about it.
I don't know. Like we have a colleague that has an early F-Type coupe.
Yeah.
That's like gray on white with a panel roof, and like that car does like the same kind of theatrics pretty well.
Yeah.
And not a ton has changed. Like the infotainment's been updated, but other than that, like there's been like very subtle cues here and there, but not a lot's changed. It's the same general idea.
It's still roughly the same kind of shouty, look at me, the kind of British car.
Yeah.
But that's what it's made for. That's
again, it crushes it, nails it.
It does
absolutely
it so
nails
well.
It. Yeah, and like it does like the sports car thing well. It handles great. That chassis is amazing. That thing could, I feel like could like, the difference between, say that car, like our F-Type, and the 911, and the M850 and the LC500 is that I feel like the Jag could hang with the Porsche 911, and those two cars couldn't.
Yeah, you really do feel the weight in the LC500 when you really try.
Yeah,
when,
like
when you
I
really
think
try to
I
push
don't
it.
know this. I could be wrong, but I think the Jag is like a much faster, tighter, like just more
Well, that
sports
could also
oriented vehicle.
be because it is kind of a different car. Like we're comparing it to. Hey, so we are comparing it to an LC500 and an M850.
We're comparing
because
it to
of
two
price.
GT cars, yeah,
Right,
because
because
of
of
price.
price.
But that's why the original comparison was to the Z4 because it's a smaller sports car type thing.
And I think that the the F-Type would still do better, if you're pushing it hard.
Yeah.
Versus the Z4, but at what cost?
Yeah,
Right.
that cost is approximately $42,000.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can.
I mean, there's
justify
an
that.
argument to be made. So our car is like the P575 motor with, I'm going to assume,
575.
approximately 575
Roughly.
horsepower.
Yeah.
So like you have allegedly 200 more horsepower. BMW underrates the snot out of that motor, but allegedly 200 more horsepower, and it feels faster. That car moves.
Yeah.
And they both have the ZF8, so gangster trans.
Yeah.
Um,
Things that have.
so like, there's an argument to be made, and like they're all wheel drive too, right? The Z4 doesn't have that.
Yeah.
So there's an alleged argument of like winterability. I don't think anyone would do that with
No,
with
absolutely
a
not.
F-Type rag top.
Definitely not.
But you could, is the argument, and it also gives you that extra little bit of like margin of safety. Like when you were out being a goon in that car today, right? Like you put your foot down in a rear drive 575 horsepower car with traction off, you are going sideways, and that car did not do that to you.
The traction was on.
Well, also that, but like you know what I mean, though, right? Like we
I
had
know what you're saying.
we had an M2 competition here a while ago, and like even at 400ish horsepower, that thing was skittering around
Yeah.
all
That thing was
over the
kinda scary.
place. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like not in a good way.
Oh, it was a very good way.
I mean, yeah.
It was a very good way. I love that car, but yeah, this like it's a smart all-wheel drive setup to kind of be out of the way, kind of like BMW X-Drive, where
Yeah.
it's mostly out of the way, but it just like brings
Lets you have a
in.
little bit of fun. Yeah.
Lets you have a little bit of fun, but it's mostly serves to be fast.
Yeah. We have anything else cool in the garage this week?
John has a Hyundai
John-
Santa Cruz that's
yeah.
pretty loaded. That's actually a really nice little.
Sorry, no, it's not loaded. It's what is it? Fully jammed.
Fully jammed.
Ah.
Full jammed.
Shout out to Addy.
Full
Fully jammed.
Full jammed.
He loves that term.
Full
It's actually actually a nice color. I really like that. Trucklet. Truckler. Truckette.
Chocolate.
It's green.
It's green.
It is also it's a nice looking truck.
Yeah, I
The
like
interior
that
was
thing.
nice.
Yeah.
I don't know. I tried it for like
drives
a
well.
grand total of 30 seconds. I thought it was cool.
Yeah. No, like it actually drives really well. I put a good amount of seat time in one of those last year. They drive great. Like,
What else is there? The Ridgeline isn't being made anymore.
No, it is.
Yeah, it is.
Is it?
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
have
God.
one. I have
The
one
Ridgeline?
this fall. Yeah.
I forgot.
I'm actually kind of looking forward to that. I've never driven one. I'm super looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'd like to see what that thing looks like.
I've always been of the opinion that like the unibody little trucklets are like all the truck
Actually,
anybody
that's
needs.
the thing.
Absolutely. You got the Ridgeline. You also got the Maverick, which
I got a Maverick.
well, one
It exists.
in that segment.
Oh,
you
yes.
theoretically also
buy it.
have a
Oh,
Maverick.
I thought you had a
to
surprise for me
choose from.
today. All right, fine.
No.
I'll see if I care.
Having reviewed the Maverick a couple of months ago, you know what? I'm Team Maverick all the way.
Well, the Maverick has
It's
cheap
actually-
on its side.
It's
It also
much
looks cheap.
cheaper
Yeah.
than the-
And also feels cheap.
I mean, that's mostly because it is cheap. But
That's what I'm
like,
saying.
I think it looks okay. Like they got the style
Looks
right.
cool.
Yeah.
It looks kind of like a Nissan
dig
Cube
it.
with a bed on it, with like the rounded edges everywhere.
Yeah, actually, you know what?
All of a sudden, now you like it, eh?
Oh my god.
Oh,
we
now
were
you
talking about how we
like
like
it.
cubes
Ooh.
today.
Yeah.
And you looked at me, you were like, oh my god, I didn't know anyone else liked those. I was like, yeah, man, those things are sick.
They're great.
I always like a cube. I don't know where the conversation happened about, but I always
You like them too?
yeah, they're cool.
Oh my god.
Oh my
Yeah, I
god,
love
Cube
boxes.
Gang!
Dude, I love boxes on wheels.
Yo, should we get
Yeah.
a cube?
Let's get cubes.
We buy.
Cube Gang.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the Santa Cruz is what, like 40-ish on the higher end?
I
On the
think like
fully
I think,
jammed end?
I think high 40 for a fully jammed Cruise. I don't actually know off the top of my head, but I think like decked out. Sorry, fully jammed. They are like high 40s, low
yeah, it's more
50s.
that's more so on in the same territory as the Ridgeline.
Yeah, but granted, you get a
Not so much
vehicle that
Maverick.
is, leather, heated vanted seats, power this, panel roof,
it-
an
it-
actually
An
genuinely
actually-
nice interior
yeah,
that does like
yeah.
a successful job ripping off the Mercedes S-Class with like the swooping glossy trim with like
Yep,
the
yep,
aluminum
yep.
lines in it.
Yeah.
And like a very effective suite of driver aids. Like this car's adaptive cruise and lane keep is so good it basically drives itself.
They're definitely punching above their.
Yeah, like I took one of those
Yeah.
up to Timmins last fall, and like that thing drove itself 95% of the way up there.
I got the
Like,
sense of-
it's and like comfortable, quiet, great on gas. Like
They're
what do you
nice.
want a car to do?
Yeah.
I got that
And it looks like a Warthog.
I got that sense from the 2024 Tucson, not the 2024 Tucson, the 2024 Kona as well.
Yeah.
We just did the launch last week in Quebec, and that thing's a lot more expensive than it was before. I think the prices have been hiked by about at least $3,000 across the board.
Okay.
But honestly, with that thing, you now get what you pay for. It has a much nicer interior.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I noticed. It looks a lot better.
Much bigger, too.
Yeah.
It's much more usable. It's not quite class-leading, but it isn't exceptionally tight.
Yeah, but as we know,
like
not everything has to be class-leading. It just has to be usable.
Exactly.
Just
Right.
has to be. It has to win on some Baron. Has to be cool.
Yeah, it's much more usable.
You get a lot more kit or a lot more options. A lot more. Sorry, my American was lost there for a second.
Holy jam!
Yeah. Oh no, my accent is slipping.
Yeah. if you're getting a lot more, stuff for the money, $3K, whatever.
Yeah.
But as we learned, I think that's just what happened recently. You're talking about a pre-COVID price and a post-COVID, and it went up by $3K. It kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
It's
everything is
worth
$3K.
Yeah. It's kind of worth it considering how much bigger it is and how much generally nicer the interior is.
And it looks like a tiny X7.
I don't really love the styling of it.
It comes across as a baby Tucson to me. I don't like. Okay, so
the Kona is a little overdone.
When you're looking at it from the back, it reminds me a lot of the Kona N, which I don't like because it's not a full goddamn Kona N.
Well, yeah, it's just busier, and they put vents in it because vents are fun.
Take
Power.
Take the hatch spoiler off, Hyundai. Come on.
Well, maybe that was on I assume the press vehicles on your first drive event.
Yeah,
were,
exactly.
Loaded, right?
They're all N lines.
Fully jam.
N line. There you go.
N-line, all
Fully
jam.
jam.
Full jam. Yes. Strangely enough, you're dumping $38,000 on a fully loaded N-line Ultimate, and you still don't get wireless CarPlay and Android Auto.
They just don't like that.
That's weird. I thought the smaller
they have a
Hyundai
thing.
Kias had the wireless CarPlay.
So they do. If you go for any other trim level but the N-Line Ultimate, you still get wireless CarPlay and Android Auto.
That's weird.
So Hyundai's reasoning during the presentation was kind of weird, actually. Apparently, Apple doesn't like having the default Maps program being the car's native nav system.
What?
It was really weird because you can buy countless other cars with factory nav and still get wireless fucking CarPlay and Android Auto.
Yes.
But apparently not the Kona.
My Mini.
The manual Supra.
Yeah.
Legitimately everything.
Literally everything in the...
I think Hyundai's got some... Hang on.
Weird.
Hyundai's Korean, yes?
Yes.
Who's Apple's biggest competitor?
Samsung?
Oh, no.
Wait, but is Android Auto wireless? I don't think Android Auto is wireless either. Yeah, that's not just that.
Never mind. Okay, roll that back. Sorry, Apple.
But I think when I was at the Kia Niro launch event last year, it was the same thing. Where I think it was the base models.
You went to a Niro launch?
Yeah, and it was great.
California.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was a fantastic trip. Shout out to Kia. That was lovely.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was kind of the same thing. Where I think if I recall correctly, the base models got wireless CarPlay and Android Auto, but the upper trims didn't. And there was a big question in the audience, yo, why not? And they're it's like a carryover production tooling thing. It's out of our hands.
I mean, technically it is out of their
this
hands.
CarPlay stuff is kind of funny though, because we have a buddy with a 2019 Range Rover Sport.
The same man with
Sport?
the F-Type.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's hilarious.
The car was so dumb.
Okay, so his car was fully jammed pretty well. It came with a ton of features. It was a gorgeous car.
Yeah.
And he had purchased it recently, and he came by and said, "Hey, I can't get my Apple CarPlay to work. What's wrong with it? Maybe it's just a setting or something."
Yeah.
So Nathan, obviously being the nice man that he is, goes and tries to help him. Struggles for an hour.
2 hours.
2 hours. And what'd you find out, Nathan?
So it's a 2019 Rangy. All Rangies from 17 onwards are supposed to have standard CarPlay and Auto. And after going through all the settings and spending a ridiculously long time doing all these software updates, I called Range Rover and was like, "Hey, here's a truck. Can you help me with this situation?" He's like, "It should be fine. Give me the VIN." So I feed him the VIN. And he's like, "Okay. Oh, what is this?" Whoever bought that thing originally specifically went out of their way to select, delete CarPlay and Android Auto.
What?
Isn't that so strange?
That's so weird.
I didn't know you could do that.
No idea. It was like really weird. But like, and I asked the guy, like, "Do you see this a lot?" And he's like, "Not a lot, but it does come up, and it's usually
hat.
It's usually like the clientele. Let's face it, some of the older clientele that just doesn't get what it's for. I don't want it. Like, no, but it comes with it. I don't want it. Okay, just get rid of it.
The best part of that story is
Nathan comes in after 2 hours.
defeated, and he's like, "Man, I'm so sorry, I can't figure it out."
I put that thing through like 5 software updates and like went through every setting I could find.
So the man goes to go home. Guess what starts working?
Yeah,
no.
he comes back in and is like, dude,
It
I
works.
just plugged my phone in and it works.
Yeah.
Like, what did you do? I was like, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
So what, did one of these software updates somehow add it back in?
I don't know. I do not know.
I think it was Nathan's rage.
Could also be that.
That's fucking weird,
It just got upset. It was like, okay, I won't make him upset anymore.
There was some setting I changed, and it wasn't an obvious setting. It wasn't like enable CarPlay. Like, it wasn't spelled out.
It
anything.
definitely said
I
enable
remember there was
CarPlay.
something I changed, but that was like an hour before. Right? I definitely plugged the phone in after that, right? Like, it wasn't like the last thing I did.
Maybe it was
and
just
gave
being
up.
British and being funny.
Yeah.
And said, "Watch this, mate."
Oh, you fucking what?
Americans.
Yeah, and eventually started working.
That's so fucking weird.
Yeah. I don't know what I changed.
So-
I don't know what I broke.
Basically,
it
CarPlay
works.
is sometimes weird.
Yeah.
CarPlay and Android Auto are sometimes weird.
Are definitely
But
sometimes.
definitely Hyundai and Kia
Hyundai,
had
Kia.
some
Yeah.
weird things with.
well,
I
'cause
guess
they're like,
Genesis by extension.
Yeah, yeah.
they're bass backwards about it because the nicer vehicles
Don't have it.
across the line don't have wireless CarPlay, whereas like the less more economical ones
Yeah.
do.
Less nice.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make any sense because they also generally don't have the wireless charging pads, which would make sense with the wireless CarPlay and Android Auto. What are you doing? I don't understand.
Yeah, it's a weird snafu.
I'm sure they'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll get there.
At least the mid-trim level Konas, they still do get wireless charging.
Okay,
So
that's
I
not bad.
I think it's standard on the preferred, which is like the volume seller. So you're not totally shit out of luck with
Shoot
that.
out of luck,
in terms
bud.
of-
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Good cars.
Generally good cars, except for that one weird little quirk.
Yeah. So
Anything fun next week?
no, no, honestly, like it's fall, so
Yeah,
all the
it's
fun cars
crossover
are.
season, kids.
Oh boy! So next week we have the refreshed Mercedes GLC 300.
That's a nice car.
Kind of looking forward to that. We also have the Lexus NX 350 Gasser, which will actually be kind of an interesting frame of comparison between the two.
Well, that's right. Yeah, I
You
had
had
an
a
NX 450H plus PHEV
Oh, jeez.
a couple weeks ago, and I really liked that thing. That was pretty good.
That was a nice car, yeah.
Yeah, it was like surprisingly nice. Like, honestly, like I wasn't like, okay, it's a Lexus crossover plug-in, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah.
And it was like delightful. I actually really liked that thing. It was
It was
fantastic.
just a good car.
It's like it's a RAV4 Prime in a nicer suit, and that nicer suit justifies the RAV4 Prime's somewhat tall price tag.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very good.
Very good.
Crossover season is upon us, boys.
So excited.
And on that bombshell.
And on that bombshell, thank you all for tuning in. If you enjoy the show, like, follow, subscribe, and please rate us. That kind of bumps us up. And before we sign off, don't forget to follow us on socials at doubleclutch.ca.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, guys.
Bye-bye.